Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Trump potentially destroying the BBC with a threat of $1 billion billion lawsuit. And God knows they do not have that kind of money right now.
I mean, are we surprised?
No.
To be honest, I mean, when it came out that they legitimately, had to apologize because they provably altered the video, which I don't know why I didn't notice it before, but now here comes the lawsuit. So
for those of you who are wondering what led to this, the BBC is hanging its head in disgrace, and a couple of people have left. A couple of the head honchos over at the BBC have left because it turned out that they doctored footage of Trump during January 6th to make it look like he was actively inciting people to go to the Capitol to riot.
Right. They took two different parts of a speech that were like three different parts of a speech that some of them were hours apart. And then they spliced it together to make it look like he was saying something that he wasn't saying.
Yes. And now he's big mad, as they say, and he's threatening to sue the BBC. I don't know if we're going to get more Doctor Who if they get sued for $1 billion.
No.
I think it's over at that point. I think Doctor Who's kind of toast. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. We'll bring this up. There's a rumor from Fandom Pulse that they're looking at Paramount now to save Doctor Who. And I'm like, well, you know what? If it goes to Paramount, maybe they'll do a little bit of course correction and we'll have a great Doctor Who again, because it seems like they're trying to fix Star Trek too.
But will the Doctor be ginger?
That would be hilarious if we finally got Ginger Doctor, wouldn't it? Like, I think we definitely are past due for a Ginger Doctor, and
as
it would not
be. As much as y'all want me to be the Ginger Doctor, that's not going to happen because I think the Doctor should be a dude.
I think if Paramount has their way, the Doctor will go back to being probably a white dude again. I'm going to be honest. They'll be like, what worked before? Okay, just white dude. There we go. We're done. Maybe Ginger. We'll see. Get Carrot Top to be the next Doctor.
No.
Oh, he's pretty buff now. Did you see him? He's like
he's
stacked.
Always annoyed me. No.
All right, so let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Hey, we're going to start pushing our membership club over on more.clownfishtv.com going into 2026. As you know, things are changing on YouTube and not for the best for creators. It's something we've talked about often the last couple of months. But we're going to have a bunch of exclusive content over here. We're going to get some forums for you guys. Got some other things planned. And if you get in now, that is before the price hike. And we'll talk about Paramount's price hike, too, in relation to Doctor Who. But we're going to have to do what we have to do. But get in, lock in now. Thank you very, very much for the support, guys. Like to see you over there. This is coming from the New York Times. The Trump lawsuit against the BBC would face serious hurdles. Now, they're all freaking out. They're like, how very dare you? How very dare you sue the BBC?
I don't understand why you didn't think that was coming.
I don't know.
Because he sued everybody else who did less than this. I mean, this is
I
know,
right? It's like,
so
I
what
mean,
did you think was going to happen?
You should learn now that basically if you even look at Trump cross-eyed, he's probably going to sue you or threaten to sue you.
Well, I mean, in this case, I think it's because he took so much, defamation
abuse.
Or whatever. Yeah, for a while. And now he's just like, nope.
Yeah, you missed, right? I mean, if you aim for the king, if you come for the king, and that's...
you're not allowed to say kings. No kings, remember?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, they think he's a king.
Until you want food, and then he's a king.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to just be able to turn the government back on without checks and balances because, he's the king.
So maybe we'll go out to this version. This is the Hollywood Reporter. It breaks it down a little bit better. But yeah, they're all kind of freaking out. They're like, how very dare he? I'm like, well, he sued ABC. He sued, he's sued.
That's what I'm saying. He sued everybody else, and successfully in many cases there were settlements reached.
But
so
$1 billion.
I'm not surprised.
$1 billion. I mean, we're not talking.
That's a little high. I think that's a bit high.
Well, that is a kill shot. Like if the BBC gets hit with $1 billion, it's over. Inside the BBC meltdown, this comes from the Hollywood Reporter. How a Trump lawsuit and a leaked memo brought down its top brass. Yeah, the head of the BBC, Tim Davie, got gone, and I believe the head of their news got gone. It said, doctored clip, 2 high-profile resignations and political crossfire from both sides. The Hollywood Reporter unpacks a crisis shaking the world's most trusted broadcaster. Well,
wait, the world's most trusted broadcaster, according to who?
The world's most trusted broadcaster. Yeah, okay. Trump's waiving $1 billion lawsuit. The BBC, after a leaked memo, found the speech of his was doctored to make it appear as though he encouraged the Capitol riot on January 6th. This is interesting. This is a very different tone, because just a couple of years ago, all these media outlets were running with this as if it were fact that he was encouraging it.
Oh, they've been.
That he was provoking it as fact.
And then they deliberately, didn't cover other people that had, hands in things. And again, I want to point out, I don't think that January 6th was right in any way, shape, or form. I've said that since day one. But I also don't think that there's been a lot of things that we've seen with peaceful protests and quotes that are actually riots and all that crap. That stuff wasn't okay either. But they acted like that was fine.
Yeah.
None of it's okay.
Peaceful protests is shit's burning in the background.
Yeah, and people are getting killed. But, that we'll step over that. None of it was fine, but one was far worse than the other.
Mostly peaceful. It's mostly peaceful. The controversies led to an implosion at the BBC. Two of its senior executives have resigned, including the top brass Tim Davie, with the fallout threatening to linger for weeks, if not months. The broadcaster has been plagued by scandal for some years with the Israel-Gaza war and the rise of the far right, making an already difficult job much harder.
Wait, the rise of the far right? You mean people that are in the UK that are just getting tired of thought crime and, you're not allowed to say anything on social media, you can be arrested?
Yeah.
That's what they're considering the rise of the alt-right?
But you lied.
That's just it. You lied.
That's not an alt-right thing. You lied.
If you have to lie or cheat to quote-unquote win, you didn't win.
Yeah.
And truth always comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. It's important to note how central the BBC is to UK culture before getting into the latest controversy. It's over 100 years old. It's an institution. Well, everything ends. Data released earlier this year from independent research company Tapestry found the BBC to be the most trusted international news provider among all audiences. It's far and away the UK's best performing cultural export. Well, they don't have many options.
Best performing doesn't mean most accurate. I'm just saying.
Right. Aren't people forced to pay for it? Aren't you forced to pay for the BBC? So what are you supposed to do? They're a provider of television and film, produced through its commercial arm BBC Studios. The broadcaster is mostly funded by something called the license fee.
Yeah, license fee.
There you go.
Yeah, every household has to pay for it.
Yeah, it says by law, every household has to pay it. And currently, it's an annual payment of $229 US. And it generated $4.96 billion for the BBC. Well, $1 billion lawsuit's a pretty big chunk.
So wait, this is kind of like, okay, if people are forced to pay it to keep you in business, then maybe you weren't viable to begin with. It's kind of like what PBS and all that stuff they're yelling about not getting tax money. It's like, well, if people people pay taxes in, but you weren't specifically paying for PBS, that came out of tax money. But if taking that away means you aren't viable and you're only being propped up by it, then that's questionable, because that doesn't mean that it's easily controlled. People don't get a say in where it goes. So if they're just getting handed the money and they aren't viable on their own, that just tells me that they're being kept there for a reason, and it's probably not a good one.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I know. It's look, we were bankrolling the BBC, right? It came out that some of the USAID money was going to the UK, and we were bankrolling the BBC. Like, why the hell are we paying for the BBC?
Yeah.
Right? We paid for it when they had like BBC America. I don't even know if they do BBC America anymore, but we had that. And they have their, streaming channels over here, the, Doctor Who Classic and all that. But so yeah, they're like, unsurprisingly, Trump threatened the BBC with $1 billion lawsuit over
it
the
really
doctored
isn't surprising.
Clip. The BBC received a letter from Trump's legal team that has demanded the retraction of false, defamatory, disparaging, misleading, and inflammatory statements in compensation for harm caused or faced legal action in Florida. The BBC said it will respond in due course.
Well, I think the amount is a bit excessive.
$1 billion? It's like Dr. Evil. It's like, Mr. Trump, what should we sue them for? $1 million? No. $100 million? No. $1 billion?
I don't know. It's a little bit excessive, I think. But
it's like, that's how they know we're serious.
But this one's a big deal, though. And the flip side of that is too, because how many lawsuits he got drug into and stuff for stuff he supposedly did that he didn't do?
Oh, they were, yeah.
So I guess when you think about it that way, I can kind of see it.
The entire time Trump was out of office, he was in and out of courtrooms, right?
How much money did that cost him? It seemed like they were trying to run him out of money or something.
Oh, that's exactly what it was about.
In that regard, then I guess I can kind of understand it.
I mean,
I guess
it's insane. I mean, it's basically this his second presidency is like the revenge tour. I mean, that's what it is. Like, he's basically targeting all of his adversaries, and he's like, "Yeah, you missed."
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that was with this is I'm not related to the BBC. Apparently, it's going to be a political discussion, but it's like I've seen them do really questionable things the last 4 years when he wasn't going after stuff, making up stuff. I mean, anybody who's followed us for a while knows I'm not a big Trump fan. You know, if he does stuff that's right, I'm going to say he does stuff that's right. If he does stuff that's wrong, I'm going to say he does stuff that's wrong. He was definitely the lesser of two evils in the last election.
But Geeky, you must be MAGA because
know, right?
you criticize Star Wars.
I'm independent now because the Democrats are, yeah, I know. The Democrats are absolutely batshit insane. But I saw them like making up all this shit. You know, there was trials, but you couldn't talk to people, the people that were, you know, allegedly, like Pelosi and stuff, allegedly, supposedly not telling people or telling them they didn't want the National Guard there because their optics were bad and all that crap. But you weren't allowed to ask her questions. And there was all these weird things that like, that wouldn't fly if it was any other person in court. Like, this is ridiculous. The stuff they were making up just to like, only for him was stupid. But I don't agree with like doing it in reverse because I don't think that accomplishes anything except,
yeah.
But I can kind of understand why. And they're all mad now. The things that they said were totally justifiable and fine year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they're all like, that's just corruption. But I'm like, but you were okay doing it when you did it.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, that's where I'm at. I don't think either one's correct. I think it's, I wish we wouldn't even have to go there, but I get why he is, given the way they behaved initially.
Yeah.
I wish we didn't have to do any of it because I think it's just a waste of time.
Oh, God. Okay, so here's where we get into the weeds. For myriad reasons, obviously this is written by a Brit because Americans don't talk like this. For myriad reasons, including the BBC's enormous influence in the UK, as well as its commitment to providing partial...
It's a normal influence in the UK. Everybody has to pay for it.
I know, right? But get this, okay, as well as its commitment to providing impartial, factually accurate, and precise journalism, like the article where they were taking a big steaming shit on Star Wars fans and video game fans. Yeah. The network has been something of a punching bag for right-wingers as Britain's political landscape continues to splinter, as is the case in the US.
That's what they're calling it now? It's splintering? Yes. You mean the stuff that's going on down there and how it's absolutely batshit insane? That's a splinter? That's not a splinter, man. You just sawed your own arm off.
As is the case in the U.S., far-right politicians have taken a hardline stance on contentious issues such as immigration, trans rights, and climate change.
That's what they're calling this.
Oh, my God. Trans immigrants are worried about the environment, guys.
I'm just like, this is what they're boiling it down to. Talk about this boiling it down to like something and just saying that's what it is. That's not, it's so much more than that, but okay.
This shift is reflected in Britain's increasingly polarized media coverage with attempts to recreate Fox News on a channel called GB News, on which far-right party leader Nigel Farage has a primetime show. With Trump's attack on the mainstream media going global, it emboldens politicians like that to continue magnifying their own campaigns.
Okay, this is what the little fuck? What the little fuck? You lied. The BBC got caught deliberately editing footage to mislead, and they lied. That is like number one thing you don't do in journalism. You know, you're like lying and you're crafting evidence to lie. This isn't about they're trying to create their own like right wing. No, this isn't about that. Had you not lied, you wouldn't be in this situation. This is about you making up stuff by splicing things together to make a false narrative, which isn't true, and you lied. Like, that's a big deal. I mean, I'm sure you lie about a lot of other shit too, in my opinion. But, you know, this one you got caught on. This isn't just like, oh, MAGA's mad. This is, you lied.
So this is interesting. So there's a leaked memo, and apparently they were fudging the numbers, I guess, on the Israel-Gaza. I mean, there's a whole bunch of issues, right? I mean, we're talking about the Trump thing because that is a bit like $1 billion lawsuit could cripple the BBC completely. But they're saying that there's more, that they were, lying about the war, that they were playing both sides. They had I guess they had a version of the site, saying one thing about Israel. And then if you go to the Arabic site, it was saying something totally different. And it's kind of like IGN, like they had like multiple articles depending on the region. And it was very, very
they got in trouble for that. Yeah.
They got in trouble for that. Yeah.
But that's all you're supposed to be doing. Like if you're supposed to be doing a journalism and you're always like saying that these people like us aren't journalists, but at least we're being more honest than you are.
Yeah. I mean, we're giving opinions. We're very clear. We give opinions. We kind of look at what's going on. We give opinions. We're podcasters. We're talking heads, talking protein.
Yeah,
heads.
but their job is they're supposed to be like the news source that you're all flipping paying for, and then they're got caught. Like, I mean, I don't know why it took this long. I mean, just looking at footage. I mean, people in America didn't see that footage probably, but just looking at the video itself, you would have figured it out really fast. The video is probably online. It's just you got caught in real time. I don't understand how you thought you weren't going to get caught. That blows my mind more than anything. How you thought that no one was going to figure it out.
So let's bring this around to pop culture, because I mean, here's what's so weird, and that's what even with South Park, I guess the South Park guys are out there saying like, normally we wouldn't cover politics, but you can't freaking avoid it. I'm like, nah, you guys have gone harder on politics.
They went way hard. Like we don't do politics. We normally don't unless it ties into pop culture. We try very hard to avoid it because I'm still of the school of thought that you shouldn't talk about politics and religion, but they just went all in hard the other way on that. But they know it's going to get views. Outrage gets views. It's all about views.
Yeah. And that's just it. And I think a lot of these like legacy media outlets, they knew they couldn't compete with these really sensational websites, so they just started doing it themselves because they're like, hey, it's good for traffic.
Yeah, but you can't do that when you're considered like a trusted news source, and quote unquote.
But they gotta make money, right? Doctor Who got.
Well, I don't think is it about making money or is it about narrative?
It's about narrative. I mean, I think a lot of it's about narrative. So this came from Fandom Pulse. They said the BBC. For Doctor Who streaming, let's see what it's. Oh no, hey, there's more of the headline. That's why I didn't get that. Rumor. Okay, there we go. That makes a lot more sense. Rumor: Paramount in talks to partner with the BBC for Doctor Who streaming, paving the way for a Star Trek crossover. That's a rumor. A rumor. So the speculation comes.
Star Trek crossover.
I don't want Doctor Who in my Star Trek. They already kind of hinted at it though. I guess they had a TARDIS hidden in a recent episode of Star Trek. I'm like, I don't want to cross the streams like that. I really don't. Because Star Trek doesn't make any damn sense.
Okay, then they probably are going to do it because why else would they bother?
I don't want to do that. I think that's going to
I'm not going to watch it either way. So it doesn't matter. They can knock themselves out. Maybe it makes somebody else happy. Not my thing.
The Daleks and the Borg teaming up and oh my God.
The Borg
resistant
the Daleks.
Yeah, resistance is extermination. It's like what? The speculation comes from Radio Free Scaro, the long-running Doctor Who podcast. It broke the news about Disney's exit before the official confirmation. Yeah, I think they are the ones who said that Disney was out. According to their sources, Paramount and the BBC have been in talks about a co-distribution deal that would make Paramount Plus the new international streaming home for Doctor Who. The catch: Paramount wants the entire back catalog, including every classic episode, every spin-off. The sticking point may be the UK streaming rights. The BBC isn't thrilled about that prospect. That means there goes my free classic Doctor Who channel on Roku.
Yeah, probably.
Because now you got to go buy Paramount Plus. Where they jack it up to like $10 a month now.
They're going to be raising the prices, in 2026. But people are like losing their crap, like, oh my God, he bought it. They're raising prices. Who isn't raising the prices?
Everybody's raising prices.
Just like everybody's like, oh my God, guys, did you know Disney's raising the prices in October? It's like, yeah, Disney always raises the prices in October. That's like, their ticket prices go up usually February or like in the fall, and they always raise the prices in streaming in like October.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they always do because it's like the stuff gets more and more expensive every year to produce. And honestly, the only way you can have record profits every year is if you raise the price on the people that don't cancel, because they always have churn. So it's like for every person that leaves, they got to jack it up $1 or $2 to compensate for them and also make a profit.
You could just not suck. You lower your price a bit, have good programming, and you'll make a lot more money that way. But
I could just, I know? I could just see you having a TED Talk and just be like, have you tried not sucking?
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to talk about that today, folks. My name is Geeky Sparkles, and I'm here to tell you to
if you
not
don't like
suck.
Swear words, there's the door. Now let's talk about why you shouldn't suck.
There's the fucking door, bitch. Have you tried not sucking? Yeah.
And in reality, I'm really not that bad, honestly.
I'm worse than you are.
I know, it's true.
It is true. I was ranting earlier today. I'm worse than she is. According to their sources, Paramount and the BBC have been in talks. Okay. This is the same sticking point that complicated the Disney deal when Disney partnered with the BBC. They only secured the rights to new episodes for international distribution. Classic Who library stayed with the BBC. And yeah, they have the streaming services over here. Just play classic Doctor Who 24 hours a day, and I love it. I love it. Disney wanted more. The BBC said no. Now Disney is gone after just 2 seasons, and Paramount's apparently making the same demand. Well, yeah, they want to lock it down. Really what they did is they kind of decided that classic Doctor Who and New Who are 2 different shows.
Well, they basically are.
They basically are. I mean, let's be honest. Then you can just ignore
Good Who
everything.
and then Bad Who.
Good Who, it's Boo Hoo. You know, it's like Woo Hoo and Boo Hoo.
That's where you go.
Yeah, so that's what they're saying. They're saying that they might have to do that. But here's the thing. If they get, I mean, this is a big if. I mean, I think it's going to be very, very hard for Trump to, I mean, he's threatening them, but like, do I think that the BBC would actually get sued for $1 billion and lose and have to pay Trump $1 billion? No. I think he's just trying to
reason of damages, but if it was, you know, they did it before the election too, from my understanding.
Well,
to try to sway opinion.
If you were trying to present to the world that he was antagonizing and promoting violence,
I'm not going to say he won't win, because this one they have some, like, you know, definite evidence here. So
yeah,
I'm not going to say he won't. I think it's a lot of money, but given what they've tried, you know, the damages and stuff, it might not be.
I don't know. But just hypothetically speaking, like if they got to make up that money somehow, they're gonna have to like pimp out everything, like sell it off. You know, I don't know.
I don't know how it's gonna go.
I mean,
no. Hey everybody, your $220 a month bill or a year bill is now going to be $1,000 a year.
That's exactly it. They'll pass it on to the blame Trump for that. That's all Trump's fault. Even though we lied, it's all Trump's fault. Yeah, I don't know, guys. It's going to be very interesting. We are living in a very, very different world, and the media, the legacy media, it doesn't matter how long they've been around, they're not immune to change. We're seeing, I think, a lot of outlets that have been around for decades will get gone within the next couple of years just because it doesn't make sense to keep them around. I think PBS on our end, PBS is probably the closest thing that we have to the BBC. I think that they'll probably disappear eventually, you know, sooner rather than later. Yeah, so there we go. We're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.